So there's a couple of really key steps to start with. Don't just get into your work. Here's what you want to do. You want to start by figuring out what work you need to do from your trial. So hopefully you have started doing a little bit of this. So some basic planning on what work do you have to do for each subject. Now that you've actually finished your trials, you should have a really good idea of what there is to do. The second thing is you want to break those tasks down in bite-sized chunks. So I never recommend having more than an hour scheduled for anything, unless it's obviously a practice paper, which goes for more than an hour. The next one to do is schedule time in your calendar to actually get it done and then tick it off when it's complete. So I've done a really basic little plan for you here. I'm just going to share my screen. Just so, look, it doesn't need to be overly complicated. I know there's like plenty of cool planning tools and stuff that you can use. And by all means, if you're used to that, do it. But it doesn't also need to be that complicated. So we've got the steps here I just talked about. What work do you have to do? Break it down into bite-sized chunks, schedule in the time in the calendar to do it, and then tick it off when it's complete, because it gives you that sense of accomplishment. So I've given you a bit of an example here, say for English. Everyone's obviously doing English. I thought that would be really relevant. So here are a couple of the tasks that you might be thinking about or that you need to do. So let's say write a discursive piece that incorporates ideas of freedom and entrapment. Go have a look at some of our other videos or the videos that are coming up shortly about how to do that. It's really handy for you. So let's say you need an hour for that. Do a reflection statement, 45 minutes. Do a practice short answer question paper, 45 minutes. Learn your content for paragraph 1 of your common module essay, and so on and so on, right? So as you can see, I've just kept the time limits pretty short, so that, rather than being like, because if you give yourself tasks that are going to be 2 hours each or 3 hours each, it's just really overwhelming. Okay, so break them down into smaller pieces. I've just given 2 for maths. Maybe you want to revise probability for 45 minutes, etc. Then this is so basic. I'm sure you have some really fun, colorful schedule that you could use, but this totally works as well, where you just slot into your day what you want to get done, and make sure you do it in the time frames that you have set. So, let's say we take this discursive piece and we go, okay, cool, discursive piece. Okay, cool, that's going to be done then. And then maybe you want to do your reflection straight after. Then you might want to have a break. Then, and you could obviously break these into 30-minute increments as well. Go for a walk, then come back. Maybe you want to do a bit of maths, so probability questions. Then, take an hour for your lunch. Then, doing a short answer paper. That's going to be 45 minutes. So you've got another 15 minutes left over. You'll have other subjects, I know, but, we're just slotting these ones in for the sake of argument. Let's say you took a little break there. You started back at 3 and then you did a full maths paper. So full maths paper. So if we take 3 hours to do that, now we'll finish it at 6. So like, if you think about it, like if we schedule that out, if you had a day where you wrote a discursive, you wrote a reflection, you practiced probability, you did a short answer paper 1, and you did a full maths paper, you have done a lot for that day. That's pretty impressive. Okay, so you started at 9, you finished at 5, you've got, an hour for lunch, you've got a break in here for an hour. I didn't even factor that in. And then you had another 15 minutes in here somewhere as well. So, having breaks, is definitely something that you should factor in, and you can be really, really productive. You'll probably be more productive if you have breaks as well. But you can get so much done outside, especially now that you don't have any interruptions. You're not going to school. This should really be your focus, right? So if you do that for 7 days in a week, and let's say you even take a Sunday off or something, you will get so much done. So the key thing is to really just make sure you do this exercise where you just sit and break it all down. And maybe that what you do for the first 2 hours of your Monday morning is just sit down and go, okay, what's everything I need to do for the next 2 weeks before English? And obviously you've got to plan out, you've got more time for your other subjects. And, you've got like, you can schedule that in as well, but, really spend that time at the beginning of the study break to just plan this out, because you will get so much more done. And I remember before my trials, that I was the most overwhelmed, and I just had no idea how I was going to get through all the work I needed to do in the next week and a half. And I was so overwhelmed. I just went, that's it, I quit, can't do it. started going, when I watched TV, it was like throwing the towel. And I had one of my tutors probably inspired me to come into tutoring and teaching in general. She came over. She was supposed to teach me 2 hours of business studies, but we did no business studies. We just sat and we did this process. So she sat with me for 2 hours and wrote out everything that I needed to do. And just getting it out of my head onto a piece of paper made such a big difference. And then scheduling it out, I probably didn't even necessarily get all of it done, but even if I got like at least 80% of it, and like I would not be here today doing what I'm doing if she didn't have that session with me. So it had such a profound impact on my life. So I love being able to talk through this process with students because this is so simple, right? You don't need anything complex. It's just write it down, schedule it out, tick it off, and then, you know, give yourself breaks, have a little reward. I mean, this is finishing at 6, which just gives you a good amount of time. So hopefully that gives you some tips on how to get, you know, your head back in the game after this awesome, like fun week that you will have hopefully just had. And yeah, good luck with it. And pop in the comments if you have any thoughts about the video or anything that you would like us to create that you think would help you in this time.